वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। कैसे हैं सब लोग? सोमेश, महादेव, हितेश, पूजा, कार्तिक, रफीक भाई, पवित्रा, एस पवित्रा, यू भारद्वाज। आई होप ऑल आर गुड. Let me start the topic GST return. Again, very practical. Very practical. In this chapter also, we will visit www.gst.gov.in and try to understand something practically on government portal as well. So before going to the portal, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss that GSTR1, GSTR3B. What is the concept? IFF, QRMP, all those stuff we are going to discuss in the today class. If I am regular taxpayer, so registered under section 9 of the CGST Act, then I will file GSTR1 and GSTR3B on monthly or quarterly. Repeating again. If I am registered under the regular category, then I will file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B on monthly or quarterly. Now, if I am opting quarterly, it is called QRMP. If I am opting quarterly, it is called QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment. Fine. So if I am monthly, then I will file my GSTR1 and GSTR3B on monthly basis. If I am opted quarterly, then I will file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B on quarterly basis. For month 1 and month 2, there is some more requirement we'll discuss in some time. What is the GSTR1? Details of outward supply. Outward supplies. Meaning thereby, whatever the supply I have made, whether it is goods or services, you need to capture everything in the GSTR1. You need to capture everything in the GSTR1. What is the due date of the GSTR1? The due date of the GSTR1, if it is monthly, then 11th of next month, and if it is quarterly, then 13th after the end of the quarter. If it is monthly, then 11th of next month, and if it is quarterly, then 13th of next month. I am requesting everyone, please see and type. What is my question is GSTR1. Just see and type what is the GSTR1. I am asking to you, what is the GSTR1? You all are requested. Please type in the chat. This is not a question. This is just a practice. This is not a question. This is just a practice. Please see and then type. I'm requesting everyone, please type what is the GSTR1. You all have in front what is the GSTR1. What is the GSTR1? Please see and write in the chat. Same thing I'm saying. Same thing I'm requesting everyone to write. GSTR1 is the details of outward supplies. Whether it is a goods or services or both, I need to enter everything. I need to enter everything in the GSTR1. So, what is the due date of the GSTR1? The due date is 11th in case of monthly or 13th in case of quarterly after the end of the quarter or after the end of the month. Who is required to file the GSTR1? Every registered person Who is required to file the GSTR1? Every registered person, including casual taxable person, including CTP, but excluding following, means ISD, non-resident taxable person, composite taxable person, person deducting the TDS or collecting the TCS, supplier of OIDAR are not required to file the GSTR1. From where we furnish, from where means in the GST portal. So everything, there is only one common portal. For everything online stuff, there is one common portal, that is www.gst.gov.in. And Mansa, you asked the question why they are reducing to cover the maximum person in the GST. See, to cover the maximum person in the GST, that is not the intention. Because if the person having the aggregate turnover 10 crore, obviously they are registered, they are already covered. They only want, instead of the manual task, they are only expecting us to do the online requirement, online compliance or online filing, etc. They are like to promote. So there would be the lesser chance of any adjustment. Great. So fine. All registered person, including casual taxable person, will require to file the GSTR1 except ISD, NRTP, etc. That, see, if you see the act, the due date is 10th day of immediately succeeding month, but they have given the power by way of notification, commissioner can extend the date. And as a result, commissioner has issued the notification and they have extended the date. If it is a quarterly opted taxpayer, then 13th, otherwise it is 11th. Now, I have told you that suppose I have opted QRMP. What is the full form of the QRMP? Quarterly Return Monthly Payment. In the QRMP, the registered person will file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B only after the end of the quarter. Only after the end of the quarter. For month 1 and month 2, there is an additional requirement, two additional requirement. There is two additional requirement. First is details of the B2B outward supplies. Now I'm adding the word B2B outward supplies. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of B2B? Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of B2B? So for B2B, only for B2B, outward supplies, IFF has to be furnished for month 1 and month 2. It is optional. It is not mandatory. It is optional. It is optional, but has to be furnished only B2B supply. If you like to furnish, you can only report the details of outward supplies. No, only B2B supplies. What is the meaning of B2B? Business to business. Means, suppose you and me are doing the one transaction. You are also registered. I am also registered. And if I am talking about B2C, then it means I am suppose registered, making the supply to you and assume you are not having any GST number. It is called as B2C. In the GSTR1, we will add all transaction, whether it is B2C, B2B, export, zero rated supplies, deemed every transaction would be entered in the GSTR1. But if I have opted QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment of taxes, in that case, I will file the GSTR1 after the end of the quarter. But for month 1 and month 2, I have the option to add the outward supply, which is only B2B, by way of invoice furnishing facility, IFF. The due date of the IFF is same as of the quarterly GSTR1, 13th of next month. 13th of next month. Coming back, what is the GSTR3B? What is the GSTR3B? See, GSTR1 is the details of outward supplies. We are only reporting, we are only adding the outward supplies. We are not paying the taxes. by which return we are paying the taxes? It is GSTR 3B. It is a monthly or quarterly return. It is monthly or quarterly return depending upon what you have opted. If you have opted monthly, then you will file the GSTR1 always monthly. Due date is 20. In case of the quarterly, you will file the GSTR3B quarterly. But for month 1 and month 2, you have to pay the taxes. And they are asking the taxes through PMT06. They have created the challan. They have created government portal, GST portal has created the challan, and we need to pay the tax through portal for month 1 and month 2. If I am under monthly, then I will file the GSTR1 on monthly and GSTR3B is on monthly. What is the due date? 11. What is the due date? 11. And for 3B, what is the due date? It is 20th. Suppose I have opted QRMP. Suppose I have opted QRMP. Then for month 1, for month 2, do I need to file any GSTR1 and 3B? Answer is no. Only after the end of the quarter, you will file the GSTR1 13th of the month following the end of quarter. And here the due date is staggered manner. We'll discuss in the 3B. Staggered manner, but staggered manner means depending upon the state, they are keeping the date. We'll discuss. But again, you will file GSTR1 and 3B for month 1? No. For month 2, answer is no. Will you file the GSTR1 or GSTR3B for month 1 and month 2? Answer is no. But I will file the IFF by 13th of next month for month 1 and month 2. Also, I will pay the taxes through PMT06. Also, I will pay the taxes through PMT06 by 25th of next month. By 25th of next month. Till now, is it clear? Any question you may ask? Any question you may ask? I hope it is clear. Very simple discussion. But still, if you have any question, you may ask. GSTR3B is I have not explained IFF. I have not explained GSTR1. I have not explained 3B. Yet we have spent good amount of the time on these return. But I am just saying the compliances part, which month I have to do. The GSTR1 or IFF is the invoice details of the outward supplies. IFF for both the return or both the month? Somesh, for both the month or both the return? Again repeating, what is the GSTR1? GSTR1 is the details of outward supplies. In simple word, I can say, I will put my outward tax invoice. I will put my sales. I will put my sales right now. If I have opted monthly, then on every month I will file the same. No problem. But if I have opted quarterly return monthly payment, it means I will file the GST return on quarter end. After the end of the quarter, I will file. But for month 1 and month 2, which compliances I need to do? IFF, what is the full form? Invoice Furnishing Facility. What is the reason to bring this IFF? We'll discuss. But What is the due date? 13th of next month for month 1 and month 2. Similarly, what is the full name of the QRMP? Quarterly return monthly payment. We need to pay the taxes on monthly basis, right? So for that, we will file the PMT-06. We will pay the tax through PMT-06. It is only challan. Like we need to pay the taxes to the government. So PMT-06 is very simple. It is challan. And by 25th, you need to funds. By 25th of the month, following the end of the month. For month 1, I will file after the end of the month. Next, by 25th, I will deposit the taxes for month 1. And similarly, for month 2, after the end of the month, by 25th, I will deposit the tax through PMT-06. PMT-06 is nothing but simply payment of the taxes. First, confirm PMT-06 ka concept is clear to all. Staggered manner means they are fixing the due date 20 and 22 for category state number 1, 20, sorry, for category state number 22 and for category state number 2, 24. You may ask why this type of the due dates? Simple reason, so that on the last day there would be no huge workload, so that my system will not work. Sakti, kindly confirm. Ankur, please confirm for PMT-06 part is clear. IFF yet to explain. Now, how much I need to pay the taxes, we'll discuss in the last class. On Friday, we will discuss. How much I need to pay the taxes for QRMP, that we will discuss in the last class, not today. Our today topic is GSTR 1 and GSTR and IFF first. IFF is used for both GSTR 1 and 3B on 13 and 21st of the month, right? Used for GSTR 1 and 3B. Logically, you are saying correct, Somesh, but technically there is some problem. You cannot say GSTR 1 and 3B both. No, because IFF, you are putting the outward supplies. GSTR 1 is the outward supplies. So for month 1 and month 2, instead of the GSTR 1, they are saying you can add through IFF. For 3B, you can say instead of 3B, we are paying the taxes through PMT-06. I hope it is clear. IFF. Why there is IF? Because we are not filing GSTR 1. See, please confirm one thing. All are requested to confirm one thing. We have discussed a new condition for taking the ITC. We have discussed one new condition that is an amendment also for all of you. Please all tell me in the chat what was that amendment with respect to 16 subsection 2. Taking the ITC for taking input tax credit, there is a new condition. Kindly let me know what is the new condition. Then you will understand the logic of the IFF. You would be able to understand the logic of IFF. Rafiq bhai, I have only told that PMT-06 is nothing but to pay the taxes. That's it. What is the GSTR1? That is clear, right? Details of the outward supplies. What is the IFF? Again, details of the outward supplies, but only B2B. I am expecting from each one of you, kindly let me know what is the new condition for taking the ITC or new amendment with respect to taking the ITC in the 16 subsection 2. Great. Thank you. ITC available only when the supplier file which return. ITC available only when the supplier file which return. Please tell me. ITC would be available only when the supplier file which return. GSTR1. And it should be communicated in the GSTR2B. It should be communicated in the GSTR2B. Can we say that 2B is my auto-populated purchase? Can we say, so suppose you are seller, I am customer, I have purchased something from you. Once you will file the GSTR1 by the due date, it will appear in the GSTR2B. So what is the 2B? One thing I can say, it is auto-populated for my inward transaction, that is purchase. Kindly confirm. 16(2)(a) new condition talking about that supplier file the GSTR1, that is GSTR1, and the same has to be communicated. Same has to be communicated through GSTR2B. Through GSTR2B. Same has been communicated in the GSTR2B. So what is the GSTR2B? What is the GSTR2A? Basically, I can say it is eligible ITC. It is reflecting the invoices which I have purchased from B2B party. It is inward transaction. It is inward supply. See, try to understand all the written is clear. If you miss any one, you will not be able to understand the flow. You will not be able to understand the flow. So supplier file the GSTR1. Supplier file the GSTR1. It will appear in customer GSTR2B. And what is the 2B? I can say it is the document for taking the ITC. It is the document for taking the ITC. Correct. Now now government is giving the option that instead of monthly, you can file the GSTR1 on quarterly. Instead of monthly, you can file the GSTR1 on quarterly. Then can you please tell me, will it not a problem for monthly taxpayer? Suppose you are supplier, you have opted QRMP. Therefore, you are filing the GSTR1 only after the end of the quarter. And because you have opted QRMP, you will file end of the quarter. When it will appear in my 2B? Only after the end of the quarter. When it will appear in my 2B? Only after the end of the quarter. Na? So the problem is being created for recipient that I would be able to take ITC only after quarter end. That is the big problem. That is the reason they've introduced IFF. So if supplier has opted QRMP, listen carefully and you need to give me the answer. Is it clear or not? If you being a supplier has opted QRMP, you will file the GSTR1 on after the end of the quarter. But for month 1 and month 2, you can file IFF for B2B transaction so that I would be able to take ITC in the same month. Because you will add in the IFF my B2B transaction. Because I am registered party, it will appear in my 2B and I can take the ITC. Is it clear? Isha, details only the one will kind of the information given to the recipient in 2B. Absolutely correct. 2B is based on the GSTR1. Absolutely correct, Ankul. Oh, so that is why IFF require B2B funding so that ITC can be available. Absolutely correct, Karthik. That is the only reason. And that is the only reason why they have introduced IFF, so that if your recipient, suppose you are supplier, you have opted QRMP. Now, but if your recipient is monthly, he will not be able to take ITC now. So that is the reason they have added IFF only for B2B. Both absolutely, Mahadev sentence is correct. Instead of one, I need to file the IFF. That is correct. IFF is optional. IFF is optional, not mandatory. Not mandatory because not sure I have the B2B or not. I have the B2B or not. If not, then obviously they are saying we will not create any more panic on the quarterly taxpayer. We are trying to help the quarterly taxpayer that we are giving one tool, B2B transaction you can add. So if your recipient is big, if your recipient is monthly, he would be able to take ITC. Otherwise, what happened, friend? Otherwise, what happened? The big company will not do the transaction for quarterly taxpayer because their ITC would be taken only after the end of the quarter. IFF is for the benefit of the recipient, but then why the supplier will do? Isa, ISA, when supplier will file the one, then only recipient can take the ITC, na, according to the new condition. See, 2A, 2B is based on the supplier return, na. It is not on the recipient. So if I'm something purchasing from you, if you file the return, then only I would be able to take ITC. Month 1 and month 2 of every quarter, yes. Suppose I am giving the name. Suppose I am giving the name of the month. Quarter, say it is July to September. July to September quarter. So month one is July, month 2 is August. Okay. 13th of, I can say 13th of next month. Therefore, I can say it is 13th August and it is 13th September. IFF is optional, not mandatory, because not necessary that there will be B2B transaction. There will be B2B, so it is optional only. ISA, I hope it is clear. Rekha, through IFF, recipient is beneficial for first 2 months only. What about the rest of the year? If the purchase in August? See, if someone will purchase in July, then on 25th, if you are talking about the July, okay, it will appear for every month, na, same. See, for month 1 and month 2 of every quarter. Puja, for month 1 and month 2 for every quarter, Rekha. For third month, there is a GSTR1. For month, see, for third month, there is any problem. For month 1, there was a problem. For month 2, there was a problem. So third month, there is a GSTR1. For again fourth, sir, again IFF. For fifth, again IFF. For sixth, again GSTR1. So what is the problem for the remaining month? So for quarter, there are 3 months, correct? For month 1 and month 2, there is IFF. For third month, there is GSTR1. Again, for next quarter, for month 1, month 2, there is IFF. For after the end of the quarter, there is a GSTR1. IFF is optional. Now the payment. So first step, see, Karthik, just tell me, just wait for some time. We'll complete the logic and we'll complete every question of the GSTR1 and IFF first. Okay. We'll go to the payment of the taxes only after the confirmation clarification of the GSTR1 and IFF. Because of the IFF, recipient need not to wait for claiming the ITC. Swami is absolutely correct. Shivam, month 1 and month 2 of every quarter, yes. Kindly all are requested to confirm. Now, all are requested to confirm. Is it clear? If you have any doubt, please ask. Supplier will file the GSTR1 or IFF. Based on that, the recipient will have to able to see the transaction in 2B and can take the ITC. Simple logic. Simple logic. For first 2 months also we can file the GSTR1 itself, sir. Suppose that is a good question. Suppose, for example, now going back. This is a next for first 2 months. Can be that is okay. For every quarter of every year, IFF is available for every quarter of every year. Yes. For year there is 4 quarter. For 1 year there is 4 quarter. For every quarter, for month 1 and month 2, I will file IFF, and for third month I will file the consolidated GSTR1. So for numerical example, ma'am, we'll come to later on. First, you have to understand theory. Because in the exam, there will be no practical question on this. Only the due date. So that is the reason I have written the month, etc. Now, I can say that GSTR1, which is being filed for the quarter, GSTR1 which is being filed for the quarter. See, GSTR1 we are filing on the quarter. GSTR1 we are filing for the quarter right now. Then please confirm. You all are requested to confirm. Will I put the data only for third month? Logically think and tell me, will I put the data only for third month? Or I can say I have to enter for entire quarter, some data for entire quarter, some data for month 3. Will I file the GSTR1 by entering the detail only for third month or for entire quarter? Give me the answer based on your logic, then I will confirm what is the actual situation in the GSTR1 to be filed for quarter. Very nice question, Rekha. Very nice question. The details in the IFF will not be repeated in the GSTR1. The details of the IFF, see, try to understand with the help of one chart. Let's say it is month 1, it is month 2, it is month 3. Let's say it is in July, it is in August, and it is in September. You have some B2B transaction. You have some B2C transaction. Transaction means outward supplies. Currently, I'm talking about only outward supplies because we are discussing the GSTR1 and IFF. For August, same thing. There are some B2B transaction and there are some B2C transaction. Similarly, for September. See, I am talking about which detail you will enter in the quarterly GSTR1. So, B2B you have added in the IFF. Suppose B2B you have added in the IFF for the month of July. So, IFF July would be furnished by 13th August. Would be furnished by 13th August. You have furnished that. Correct. No problem. On 25th August, you have paid the taxes. Whatever the taxes is there, you have paid the taxes. How to calculate the taxes? How much I need to make the payment? We'll discuss in the next class. Similarly, you have added IFF for August. The B2B transaction you have added in the IFF. Now, and you have made the payment also through PMT 06. Fine. Now, what is my question? Or what is my question? My question is, which detail you will enter in the GSTR1 for the QRMP taxpayer? For QRMP taxpayer, so Rekha, B2B means registered to registered. B2C means registered to unregistered. Customer. Now I can say, basically, I will file the GSTR1. I will file the GSTR1 for quarter July to September. For all the quarter transaction, minus IFF transaction. It means, just see, the B2C transaction will come in the GSTR1. The B2C transaction for August will come in the GSTR1. September month entire transaction will come in the GSTR1. Similarly, there is a requirement of number of invoices, document detail, all other table will come in the GSTR1. So I am repeating for the quarterly GSTR1, which detail you will enter. I can say for the entire quarter, I will put the detail. For entire quarter, I will put the detail in the GSTR1, excluding the B2B invoices, which has been entered in IFF. For July, I have added B2B. So rest B2C transactions will be added in the GSTR1 after the end of the quarter. There is no D2C. In our chapter, there is no D2C. You can, for GST purpose, there is no concept of D2C. There's a concept which is going in the market. We'll discuss separately, not now in the class. Only last out, in case of the B2B, IFF is compulsory, IFF is optional. Let's say he has not furnished the IFF for the month of August. So is there any problem? No penalty, no problem. Simply he can add those detail also in the September month or quarterly GSTR1. Kindly reconfirm the doubt. Kindly reconfirm, is it clear? Or if you have any doubt, ask the doubt. Multiple doubt you need to ask, then only the concept would get clarified. All are interlinked. See, 1, 3B, IFF, everything is interlinked. Everything is interlinked. So your concept would be clear only when you ask the question. Right, Susil, absolutely correct. August amount furnished in September. Obviously, see, every transactions, see, when we are filing the taxes, when we are paying the taxes or filing the return, obviously after the end of the month only it would be now. So for July, can I pay the taxes in July? Answer is no. Can I file the return in July? Answer is no. Only when the month would be completed, then only I can calculate and pay the taxes. And then only I can file the return. So the compliances would always be after the end of the month. So for IFF, it is 13th of August. For example, I am talking about July, then it will be August. For August, it will be September. For quarter end, it will be in October. We can furnish B2C? Answer is no. IFF is only for B2B. IFF is only for B2B. Who will file GSTR2? No one will file. GSTR2 has been removed. GSTR2 has been omitted. GSTR2 has been omitted. In the time to come. Practically, I'm talking about in the theory concept, it is still there in the law. In the future, it will be removed. But practically, if you ask me, GSTR2 is only theoretically, not the practically. In the law, it is still there. It will be removed in the time to come. By next year, it will be removed from the law as well. Means the GSTR1 details of the B2C for all the 3 months and B2B of the 3rd month. Absolutely correct, Isa. Absolutely correct. Bhardwaj, IFF only for the August without July possible? Possible. Very good question. IFF is possible. Suppose for the July month I have not furnished. Can I furnish directly for the August? Obviously, yes. No problem. There is no continuity is required in case of IFF. There is no continuity required in case of IFF. Can you please all tell me? Can you please all tell me what is the benefit of IFF? Can you all please tell me if it is clear everything? Can you please tell me what is the benefit of the IFF? Why one should file the details in the IFF? Then you know, not doing obviously import. That was the problem. Absolutely correct. You have correctly highlighted the problems, and that is the reason of introduction of IFF. Karthik, 1, 3B are they required to be filed simultaneously? Yes, or they can be possibility that one or to be filed monthly, 3B or quarterly. No, not possible. Not possible. Now the frequency of either monthly or quarterly. Earlier it was possible. Now it is not possible. Earlier it is possible. Now it is not possible. Either one taxpayer will opt monthly or one taxpayer will opt quarterly. In the previous chapter, 20th of next month, date of the payment of the taxes in case of monthly. Rekha. What is the due date of the payment of the taxes for monthly taxpayer? For monthly taxpayer, the due date will be equal to the due date of the GSTR3B. For the last month, see, for the last chapter, see, the due date is not changed according to the chapter. See, the due date will not change according to the chapter. If you recall or revisit the video now of the last class, you will always listen to me that I am using the word monthly. Why I am using the word monthly? Because in case of the monthly, the 3B has to be filed by 20th of next month, and that is the due date of the taxes. In that class, I have never used the word quarterly. Why I am using the word quarterly? Because it is a long concept. Utilization of the ITC. Rekha, is it clear? Kushi, recipient can avail the ITC. Mahadev, excluding IFF, detail already filed for month one, all other B2C and third party date. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Mahadev Harpach. Karthik, so that recipient can claim ITC. Bandadi, purchaser can claim to claim the ITC utilization of ITC. Sneha, Mansa, Pooja, Prabhas. mm, Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So all are clear about that. The benefit is for recipient B2B claiming the ITC. So all are clear with respect to IFF. Quickly tell me what is the due date of IFF. Quickly tell me what is the due date of IFF. Quickly tell me what is the due date of IFF. Invoice furnishing facility, what is the due date of IFF? Quickly tell me what is the due date of IFF. Quickly give me the answer for certain question. Quickly give me the answer for certain question. What is the due date for the IFF? 13th of next year. 13th of next year, is it? Pooja, answer is yes. Pooja, answer is yes. Answer is yes. I can change the frequency from quarter to quarter also. What is the due date of the IFF? Kindly confirm. Is it? What is the due date of IFF? The correct answer you have given 13th of next month. 13th of next month. Please note one thing. GSTR1 you can furnish after the due date also. Suppose I like to furnish the GSTR1 after 13th end of the quarter. Try to understand the difference. The GSTR1 possible after the end of the quarter or after the end of the month or after the due date GSTR1 is possible, but IFF has to be furnished by the due date. After due date, you cannot furnish. GSTR1 and IFF, what is the one bigger difference? There are multiple differences. We'll talk. We have already discussed B2B versus B2C, but now I'm telling one more thing. After 13, you cannot furnish IFF. But yes, GSTR1, yes, GSTR1, if you like to furnish, you can furnish even after the due date. Even after the due date is possible. Now let me talk about GSTR3B. Now let me talk about GSTR3B. Ma'am Rafiq bhai, till now is it clear? Can anyone opt QRMP? Yes, that I like to tell you. So for QRMP is available to the taxpayer having aggregate turnover up to 5 CR. Having aggregate turnover up to 5 CR, one can opt the QRMP scheme. So who will file the monthly return? I can say one would be having the aggregate turnover more than annual aggregate turnover more than 5 CR. Annual aggregate turnover more than 5 CR. Second, if person having aggregate turnover up to 5 crore opted for monthly. Question is really good. Question is really good. That who can opt QRMP? Who can opt QRMP? Who can opt QRMP? The person, the registered person who are having the AATO, annual aggregate turnover more than 5 crore. Nahin, up to 5 crore. So I can say if aggregate turnover is up to 5 crore, then there is two options, either quarterly or monthly. But if aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore, then there is no option, only monthly. So it means in case of the monthly, either the taxpayer, either the registered person may have the aggregate turnover up to 5 crore, but opted for monthly, or aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore. Please remember always, if one has opted monthly, then the due date would always be same. For GSTR1, it is 13th. It is 13th. And for GSTR3B, it is 20. So at that point of time, it is immaterial what is the aggregate turnover. QRMP 1, you're talking about GSTR 1. We'll discuss late fees penalty, we'll discuss later part. At a later part, we'll discuss. Answer is yes. If you not file the GSTR 1 in time, if you not file the GSTR 3B in time, there is a late fees. Quantum we'll discuss in some time. But if I not file the GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B in time, there is a section 47, I have to pay late fees. See, I am giving the answer to the new question. I have already answered who can opt QRMP. Is it clear to all? First, confirm, is it clear to all? Who can opt QRMP or who can opt monthly? Is it clear to all? Confirm this thing. Then I will go to the question of Akash about the late fees. Karthik, if you actually ask, there is no benefit. There is no much benefit for the QRMP. But think about that I'm a retail taxpayer. I do not have the B2B transactions. I do not have the B2B transaction. Then it is beneficial now. I'm not required to file IFF. Again, IFF is optional. So compulsion is not there. See, I want, I can file. I don't want, I cannot file. So there is no compulsion. There is no late fees for quarterly taxpayer in case of IFF. So now let me talk about certain concept of the late fees. Certain concept of the late fees. Then we'll discuss the GSTR 3B. Then we'll discuss the GSTR 3B. Prabhas, in case of the QRMP, it is 13. In case of the monthly, it is 11. In the study material, same thing is written. Let me show you the material also so that there will be no confusion. Let me show you the material first to the Prabhas so that there would be no confusion. So I am not talking about any new thing. The things which is written in the material, which is absolutely correct, no doubt about that. And where it is written the due date? See, there is a due date. For registered person under QRMP, the due date is 13. And for any other, it means monthly, it is 11. See, please forgot the concept of the GSTR 3. The GSTR 3B has replaced the GSTR 3. Now the GSTR 3 is not there. In that, there is GSTR 3B. GSTR 2 is not there. GSTR 2 is not there. GSTR 2 is not there. And GSTR 1 is there. Who can file GSTR 3? So everyone has to file the GSTR 3B. Instead of 3, I will use the word 3B because the law is also saying the same thing. Only those who have turnover up to 5 crore can choose QRMP. If greater than 5 crore, compulsory monthly. Absolutely right, Pooja. Absolutely right. You are giving your understanding, but in the different way. That is really appreciable. Really appreciable. So what is the late fees? What is the late fees if I not furnish the GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B in time? In time means due date. Then section 47 would be levied on us. And they are saying there is a late fees. How much late fees is there? How much is the late fees is there? 100 rupees per day, during which such failure continue, or rupees 5,000, whichever is lower. So we are talking about the CGST Act, section 45, section 39, section 37. If these written or this statement has not been filed in time, there is a late fees. What is the late fees? 200 rupees per day, subject to the maximum of 10,000. Sir, in the study material, it is written 100 rupees. It is written 5,000. No, no problem, sir. Always remember one thing that in the law, we are reading the CGST Act. Which act we are reading? CGST Act. So when you read the penalty amount, when you read the any late fees, you are reading the, like, see this, you are reading the section 47 of the CGST Act. You will add equivalent amount of SGST. You will add equal amount of the SGST. So if there is 100 rupees according to the CGST, I need to add rupees 100. So the total will be 200 rupees per day, subject to the maximum of 5,000 CGST. Therefore, 5,000 SGST also. And we need to pay the maximum late fees of 10,000. We need to pay the maximum late fees of 10,000. So you need to double the penalty amount or late fees amount. But in case of the annual return, there is an annual return. The annual return upper cap is very high. It is linked to the turnover of the registered person. Dear sir, is it compulsory for every supplier whose AATO is up to 5 crore QRMP? So see, just now we have discussed now. They have the two options, up to 5 crore, they have the two options. Either go for QRMP or can opt monthly. It's their choice. In book, it is given that we can choose to file GST1 itself instead of IFF, right, sir? Puja, IFF is optional. So for month 1 and month 2, if I am choosing not to file the IFF, so file the GSTR1. So GSTR1 is anyhow mandatory, correct? So for month 1 and month 2, I have filed the IFF, that is okay, but it is optional. If you not furnish IFF, then please add all the details in the GSTR1. So what I'm saying, the GSTR1 is the entire detail of the quarter minus IFF. Entire detail of the quarter minus IFF. It means if I have furnished only for 1 month, then balance information you will add in the IFF, in the GSTR1. Suppose I have not furnished the IFF at all. For entire quarter, whether B2B or B2C, you will add in the GSTR1. Rekha, upper cap is there na 5,000. For late fees, like normal return, GSTR3B, GSTR1, upper cap is 10,000 rupees. And for annual return, upper cap is 0.50% of the turnover. Annual return, we are not going to discuss today. We'll discuss tomorrow. We'll discuss in the next class, not today. Just there is a late fees which I have talked about. We'll discuss in the next class, not now. Okay. Today we have to give the focus on the. Today we have to give the focus on the. Today we have to give the focus on the GSTR1 and the 3B. That's it. IFF. GSTR1 / IFF and 3B. In the exam, what you will write? In the exam, what you will write? You can write 100 rupees per day according to the CGST Act. Similar amount of the SGST would be added. So therefore, the late fees would be 200 rupees per day, subject to the maximum of 5,000 and similar amount of the SGST 5,000. You can see that it is written also. I hope it is clear. An equal amount of the late fees would be payable by such person under the respective SGST Act also. So whatever the late fees you are talking about, it is of CGST. Similar amount you have to add according to the SGST. Everything will be doubled. Everything will be doubled. Na? See this particular study material only alarming things that it is written. Similar amount of the late fees. So it is written 5,000. So it will be 10,000. 100 rupees, it will be 200 because similar amount of the SGST ka penalty you need to add in the amount. Can a person default to file the return for 10 years after paying 5,000 fine? Rekha, in between the department would initiate the recovery. Rest to be sure, in between, there is a penalty prosecution, there is a section 73, 74, which all we'll discuss in the final chapter, but in between the department would initiate the recovery. No one will be wait for 10 years. Now there is everything is automation. So coming to the, one thing. Let me complete that like this. Yes, I hope it is clear. But still, we will discuss. Some more thing. But again, going back to the GSTR3B. What is the GSTR3B? What is the GSTR3B? GSTR3B is the detail of outward supply. No, sir, that is GSTR1. That is GSTR 1. So what is the GSTR 3B? GSTR 3B is a monthly return. GSTR 3B is a monthly return or quarterly return, depend upon the frequency. But it will have the summarized information. It will not have the detailed information. It will have the outward supplies, total tax liability, total ITC, balance tax payable. You can use the ITC or you have to pay through cash. GSTR 3B will cover the entire information. Tax liability, input tax credit, RCM transaction, whatever the ITC and the balance to be paid in cash, then only you can file the GSTR 3B. It means GSTR 3B is the due date for filing the GSTR 3B. It's also the due date for payment of the taxes. Yes, Akash, absolutely correct. It will 0.50% of the turnover. You have to write in the exam 0.25% of the turnover. In the note, you can write in the similar way, which is written in the study material. In the same pattern, you will write 100 rupees per day, you will write 5,000, and in the bottom must write similar amount of the penalty has to be added according to the respective SGST Act. You will write according to the CGST Act, this much of the penalty, not penalty, this much is of the late fees, similar amount would be added according to the SGST Act. Clear? You will not write directly 0.5. You might be, you have written section 47 and then you are writing 0.5. In that case, you will wrong. So you will write 100 rupees or 5,000 in case of the regular return, or in case of the annual return, you will write 100 rupees per day or 0.25%. And in the bottom, in the footnote, you can write one comment. Absolutely correct answer. Absolutely correct answer. Now, next year, next GSTR 3B would be filed either monthly or quarterly. If it is monthly, the due date is 20, and if it is quarterly, it is 22 or 24, depending upon the state. India has been divided into states, and either 22 or 24. What is the logic? What is the logic? So that at the end of 20, on every month, on the 20th, there would be the pressure. Now, on the system, there would be huge workload. So they have staggered manners, dividing the due date. So the GSTR 3B has been divided for monthly, it is 20, for quarterly, either 22 or 24. Why they have given the due date? Again, for the pressure. There should not be huge pressure on the software, on the GST portal. Couple of questions. Sir, late fees for annual return is also doubled. Prabhas answered already. In case of the one after due date, 13th of the next month, 100 rupees penalty start from 14th. Ankur, you are using the word next month. You are using the word next month. It means, are you talking about monthly? Because if it is monthly return, then the due date is not the 13th, it is 11. That is the only correction. That's okay. Rekha, can I that already answered? Akash, if the GSTR1 is filed after the due date, late fine for it, yes, there is a late fees. It is leviable currently, Akash, according to section 47, but portal is not collecting. That is different thing. We are not going to discuss. But practically, whether they are collecting or not, that is different thing. We'll not discuss. But according to the law, yes, it is leviable. And currently in the GST audit, they are also taking one of this point. Departmental audit, they are taking also this point. Can we file the GSTR 3B monthly or quarterly? Depending upon the manner you have opted. See, can we file the GSTR 3B on monthly? Why not? If I am monthly taxpayer, I will file 1 and 3B both monthly. If I am quarterly taxpayer, then I will obviously file the GSTR 3B on quarterly. IFF for month 1 and month 2. Payment of the taxes for month 1 and month 2 through PMT 06. But GSTR 1 and 3B would be filed only after the end of the quarter. Only after the end of the quarter. Sir, the payment with the IFF is done through the cash ledger. Done doubt because 3B is not filed till then. Yes, cash ledger means we are only depositing into the cash. We are only adding the amount in the cash ledger. That's it. IFF means not for month. PMT06 means paying the taxes through challan that will remain lies in your electronic cash ledger itself, nothing else. No late fees for filing the GSTR, IFF. No late fees. Answer is yes, no late fees. Can anybody tell me why there is no late fees? Simple reason. Is it possible for me to file IFF after the due date? Is it possible for anyone to file IFF after the due date? No. No one can furnish IFF after the due date. No one can furnish IFF after the due date. So it is not possible. The only possibility, either you file within due date or not to file. Any one is possible. It is not possible that you are furnishing after the due date. No late fees in case of the IFF. No late fees in case of the PMT06. Yes, there is a late fees in case of the GSTR1. Yes, there is late fees in case of the GSTR 3B. So Rekha, absolutely correct. If I am monthly taxpayer, I will file GSTR1 by 11th after the end of the month by next month, and GSTR 3B by 20th again after the end of the month in next month. Similarly, if I am opting QRMP, then obviously after the end of the quarter, suppose after September, let's say we are talking about July to September. After September, on 13th, till 13th, I have to file GSTR1, and till 22 or 24, I will file the GSTR 3B. That's it. When person is debarred from using, we'll discuss now. There is a separate point. Prabhas, there is a separate point. We'll discuss. You are taking the point from the study material. There is a separate heading. We'll discuss. We'll cover every heading. No heading will be untouched of the GST. But my way to explain this chapter is something. First, we need to understand the entire concept. Then we'll go to the study material. Every concept would get more clarified. IFF cannot be filed after the due date. That is why no late fees. Absolutely correct, Karthik. Because it is not mandatory, so that there is no penalty. Absolutely clear, Somesh. Khushi. Because not absolutely correct. PMT06 not paid 25. Is there any late fees? Bharatwaj, if I have not paid the taxes in time PMT06, then late fees is not there. But yes, interest can be levied. Not can be, interest will be levied. Interest will be levied. Interest under section 50, there is a concept we have discussed in the ITC chapter. In the payment of the taxes chapter, in the payment of the taxes chapter, we have discussed the concept of the interest. According to that, yes, it is leviable. Can we opt QRMP for the? No. See, both are clubbed together. Either monthly or either quarterly. You can't choose different option. Monthly GSTR1 and quarterly 3B. No, sir. Now these are connected. Earlier there was an option, but now these are connected. Either monthly both or either quarterly both. You cannot change the frequency for the 1 3B different. No. I hope all the question is answered. Now let's talk about the GSTR 3B. We have discussed the 3B. 3B is the monthly return or quarterly return. Now we are moving to the study material. Fine. So who is required to furnish the details of the outward supplies? Every registered person other than, and including casual taxable person, but other than ISD, non-resident, composition, TCS, TDS, and OIDAR. What is the form for submission of the details of the outward supplies? That is GSTR1. Shivam, interest penalty will also, see, please do not use the word, see, one thing, penalty is a separate concept, interest is a separate concept, and late fees is a separate concept. See, interest, late fees, and penalty separate concept. So you will not merge the word penalty with late fees. You will not merge the word penalty with interest. All these interest are levied according to section 50. Late fees are levied according to section 47. Penalty, there are multiple section 122, 123, 124, 125, 73, 74. So we are using the word interest will also be doubled. So because interest is the percentage, 18%. So you need to calculate on the total tax. So automatically doubled. So on the CGST also, on the SGST also, you will have to calculate. So otherwise also, if you are applying the CGST as well as SGST, it will automatically double. In case of the will the state is provided for which due date is they have divided state has been divided. So it's already divided. They have divided in the two part, category state number 1 and category state number 2. So what is the due date for the GSTR1? We have already discussed that due date for the GSTR1. In case of the QRNP, it is 13, and in case of the monthly, it is 11. So for QRNP, the same date has been kept for IFF also. What is IFF? Invoice furnishing facility provided to quarterly taxpayer is not mandatory, but an optional facility made available to the registered person under QRNP. At this option, registered person may choose to furnish the details of the outward supplies. We have discussed everything. So now this line is the facility of furnishing the detail of invoice in IFF has been provided so as to allow the details of the supply to the reflected in the 2A and 2B to the concerned recipient. Logic again we have discussed. We have logic we have again discussed. So what is the 2B? What is the 2A 2B? See, if I am registered under composition taxpayer, see, try to understand this thing. So whether 2A 2B is applicable for me? No, answer is no. See, if I am composite taxpayer and I'm purchasing from you, you are regular taxpayer, purchasing from you, will you file the GSTR1? Answer is yes. It will reflect, instead of the 2A 2B, it will reflect in 4A. So 2 GSTR2A or 2B is for regular taxpayer, section 9 registered person. GSTR4A is for composition taxable person. GSTR6 is the person who is registered under the ISD category. So things are same. Auto-populated purchase, only the form number are changed. Fine. So that we have discussed everything. Details of the outward supply is required to be furnished in IFF. That component we'll discuss. Right now we'll discuss. What is the details? We'll discuss. So first, invoice-wise information, inter or intra, but only registered person. So which detail will be entered in? Which detail will be entered in IFF? It is only B2B. So invoice-wise, it can be inter or it can be intra, but only B2B. Debit and credit note issued during the month for those invoices respectively. If a registered person does not opt to upload the invoice through IFF, then what I told you? That you will add in the GSTR1. Na? See, what is the GSTR1? The data of 3 months minus IFF. Whatever the details which I have opted in which I have entered, which I have added in IFF, balance detail you need to add. Suppose you have opted not to file any detail, not to enter any detail, not to file IFF, then everything has to be added in the GSTR. Everything has to be added in the GSTR1. 10.11 GSTR2 and 2B are no longer prevalent, is it so? Page 10.11. Which para? Rajendra Seth, kindly confirm which para. It is prevalent, sir. It is available. This is the base things for taking the ITC. Where it is written 2A 2B is not prevalent. You tell me, then I will again come back. Fine. Now, Pravas, what are the cases where the registered person is debarred from furnishing the 1 and IFF? I think that is the same question you asked, correct? First, if 3B has not been furnished for previous 2 months. if 3B has not been furnished for preceding tax quarter. If registered person, Rafi, suppose I am registered under regular category, then my purchase, registered purchase would report in 2A, 2B. If I am registered under composition, then my B2B purchases will be appear in my GSTR 4A. So 2A, 2B is for regular taxpayer. Same things, GSTR 4A is for composition taxpayer. And same things is for input service distributor, ISD, that is in the GSTR 16. A registered person opting for QRMP, in that case, he is not able to furnish the outward supply in the GSTR1 or IFF is he has not furnished the 3B for the preceding tax period. It means for 1 quarter. Now, third things that registered person, I hope Prabhas, you are getting your answer. Whatever the question you have asked, I hope you get the answer. A registered person who is restricted from using the amount available in the ECL to discharge the liability 99%, if you remember 86B. He shall not allowed to furnish the GSTR1 or IFF if he has not furnished the 3B for the preceding tax period. For the last month, it is not being filed. If it is not being filed and 86B is applicable, I would not be able to provide the, or I will not be able to furnish the IFF or GSTR1. What is the star mark? A taxpayer cannot file the GSTR1 before the end of the current tax period. So if you like to file the GSTR1 for July in the month of the July, not possible. GSTR1 or 3B would be available only after the end of the month. For that month, for July, if I like to furnish the GSTR1, it is possible only after July. 3B only after July. 2A, 2B only after July. But there are two things. One, if the casual taxpayer is there, so their registration is valid for certain days. Correct? The registration is valid for certain days, 90 days, something like that. Once the date is crossed, he has to file the GSTR1. Suppose that is, let's say, 3rd of August, or they can take the shorter registration also. Shorter period. Correct. So casual taxable person can allow or is allowed to furnish the GSTR1 after the closure of the business, even for the same month. And similarly, cancellation of the GST number of a normal taxpayer, if the normal taxpayer has cancelled their GST number, then they are allowed. So otherwise, you cannot furnish the GSTR1 before the end of the current tax period. A taxpayer who has applied for cancellation will be allowed to file after confirming the receipt of application. What are the content of GSTR1? So that we will do after the break. Let me take certain question. Not getting 10.12, fifth point. Okay. And third. Okay. First tell me the 10. So suppose I am doing the non-compliances for July. Can I file the return for August? That is the point. The GSTR1, you cannot furnish. You cannot furnish if the 3B has not been furnished for the preceding 2 months. You are not paying the taxes to the, what is the 3B? Simply, I can say I'm paying the taxes to the government. Again, try to understand the logic. Suppose Mr. Arun is reporting the GSTR1, but he is not filing the GSTR 3B. What is the 3B? Payment of taxes. So government has stopped that you are allowed only when you have paid the taxes, either through 3B, that is for last 2 months, or if you are quarterly, then for last quarter, you have not furnished the 3B, or in case of the 86B, then 99%. You have paid 1%, then okay, otherwise not allowed. Is it clear? Isa, is it clear this point? The restriction was really required because otherwise people are doing the business. People were doing the business. They were filing the return, but not paying the taxes through 3B. They are only filing the GST. Customer would be happy. Why? Because it is appearing in 2B. So he would be happy. He is enjoying the benefit of the GST. So that is the reason it has been restricted. Yes, it is. New condition is being added in the cancellation section 29. You can see the section 29. Fine. Now coming to the point of Rajinder said that point is not clear. Third para, first, second, and third. Taxpayer is opting QRMP may furnish the details to the such outward supplies to the registered person as he may consider necessary for the first month and second month of the quarter up to a cumulative value of the 50 lakh. Yes, this is the new point. I will tell you. In the IFF, what is the restriction that you can add maximum 50 lakh? You can add maximum 50 lakh in each of the first 2 months using IFF or the however invoice pertaining to last month. The invoice are to be furnished in IFF between first day of succeeding month till the 13th of the succeeding month. After 13th, this facility would not be available. But your question was different, sir. The question was different, if I'm not wrong. You have asked the question, 2A and 2B are no longer prevalent. Where it is written, sir? Rajinder, where it is written, the said facility would, however, be available, would not be available. That the things is after 13th, you cannot file the IFF. That we have already discussed. So where it is written that GSTR 2A and 2B are no longer prevalent, they are saying only after 13th, the IFF would not be available. The said facility, however, be available, say, for the month of the July from 1 to 13th August. Similarly, for the month of August from 1 to September, 1 September to 13 September. मैं अभी भी नहीं समझा. Still not clear. Rajinder, please ask the question again. Because nowhere I could be able to see the 2A and 2B concept. But what is the difference between filing return and paying the taxes? See, try to understand. Filing return and paying the taxes. See, they are saying GSTR 3B is the monthly summarized return. GSTR 3B is the monthly summarized return. Monthly summarized return or quarterly. Also, whatever the liability is there, you need to pay the liability also. So, meaning thereby, 3B is equal to the payment of taxes. Whatever the liability I have reported in 3B, I can file 3B only when the payment has been, taxes has been paid. Without making the payment, I can't do. For quarterly, because of the quarterly, you are filing the 3B after the end of the quarter. So they have added concept of the payment through PMT 06 after the end of the month. You have to pay the taxes by 25th for month 1 and month 2. That is the reason the challan is required. But in case of the monthly or quarterly, when I'm filing the 3B, there is no requirement of challan because I have to pay the taxes. Then only I can file the GST returns, GSTR 3B. Isa, can you please confirm that you are talking about this? Can you please confirm that you are talking about this? Or similarly, please confirm. Rajinder, please confirm. And Isa, please confirm. Are you talking about this para or bottom para? Meanwhile, I will explain the 50 lakh concept once again. I can furnish only B2B supply through IFF. Yes. It is optional. Yes. Can I file after 13? No. What is the due date? Till 13. One more requirement, that maximum value which you can add is 50 lakh rupees. So for month 1, you can add the transaction of maximum 50 lakh. Suppose I have the one tax invoice of the 60 lakh in QRMP. What is the upper limit of aggregate turnover? What is the upper limit of aggregate turnover? What is the upper limit of aggregate turnover? In case of the QRMP, 5 crore. In case of the QRMP, 5 crore. So they have divided 5 crore divided by 12. So almost they are saying there would not be exceeding certain amount. So they have rounded it off to 50 lakhs. So they are saying in case of the IFF for month 1 and month 2, you need to enter the B2B supply. Yes, but the maximum value of which you can add in 1 month, that is 50 lakhs. New restriction, that is okay. Suppose I have the tax invoice of 60 lakh, what to do? Either, either, either to add in the GSTR1 after the end of the quarter, or instead of issuing the single tax invoice, you may opt to issue the 2 invoice. But if the single tax invoice or consolidated value is exceeding 50 lakh, that cannot be added in the IFF. IFF is the upper restriction of the 50 lakhs. That's it. Because a registered person can only file the 3B if he or she has paid his or her previous tax liability. No. Mahadev, 3B itself is the document to pay the taxes. I am talking about monthly. So for quarterly, I am okay with your sentence that PMT 0, but you are saying that can only file the 3B. No, there is no such condition. First, there is no such condition, whatever you've written. Second, because 3B is the document by which I am paying the taxes. 3B is the document by which I am paying the taxes also. So when I am filing the 3B, I can only furnish 3B when I have paid the taxes at the same time. So when we are filing the 3B, we are calculating our tax liability, and also there is a system. Click on the pay challan. I am making the challan and offsetting the same. See, in case of the quarterly, the tax ka payment will be made on month 1 by 25th of next month, month 2 by 25th of next month through PMT 06. Are we filing the 3B on monthly in case of QRMP? No. Perfect. See, this amount would be available or would be lying in your cash ledger. Now, when you file the GSTR 3B after the end of the quarter by 22 or 24, then calculate your tax, file the 3B outward supplies, summarized outward supplies, summarized total ITC, RCM, everything. Then whatever the liability will be there, you can use ITC and you can use cash. And after offsetting means whatever the liability is there, you have paid the same, then only you can submit the GSTR 3B. Means in one IFF written, the maximum outward supply 50 lakh could be furnished. Absolutely correct, sir. Sir, if not opted IFF, then PFT 06 is not required, right, sir? No, there is two different things. See, first thing, IFF, there is no way to opt IFF. There is nothing to do that I have to opt, then only I can file. No. IFF would be available if you like to furnish or not furnish. But IFF and the PMT6 doesn't have any relation. Suppose, let's take one example, Siva. Let's take one example. I am having one business in which only B2C ka transaction is there. I am opting QRMP because my total turnover is less than 5 crore. I'm opting QRMP because my total turnover is less than 5 crore. I will file the IFF? No, because I have only B2C ka transaction. But do I need to pay the taxes? 100% yes. You need to pay the taxes for month 1 and month 2. How much? That we will discuss later on. How much? There is one concept which we will discuss later on. But yes, even though I am not filing IFF, but I have to pay the taxes through PMT6 by 25th of next month. Is it okay? If 5 crore exceed in QRMP, what happens? Need to convert into the monthly. Need to convert into the monthly from the next quarter. Need to convert into the monthly from the next quarter. In case of the QRMP payment of the tax for third month is 22. Again, Rekha, I would not. Date is correct. So there is no problem in the date, but there is a problem in the sentence. You are saying only payment of the taxes? No, sir. I can say it is not only for payment of the taxes as well as GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B due date is 22-24 after the end of the quarter, which is same date for the payment of taxes. Which is same date for the payment of the taxes. So two activity has to be done simultaneously. Two activity has to be done at par, at same time. That means we file the via GSTR1 and finally set off and paying using GSTR 3B, right? Absolutely correct, sir. PMT 06 introduced for payment of the tax monthly when the 3B is not filed monthly. PMT 06 is the challan, it was already there. See, Lekha, PMT 06 is the challan by which we are paying the taxes. It was already there. When we are paying, when suppose there is a tax liability in 3B, there is an automation linking of 3B with PMT6, but taxes is paid through 3B only. Taxes can never be paid through any other mode. It is already available. But for IFF, they are saying only PMT06 because the 3B is not available for month 1 and month 2. So PMT06 is not the file on the information furnished in the IFF. No, correct, Karthik. There is, again, IFF is for output supply, PMT06 is for payment of the taxes. That can be equal to IFF, that can be more than, that can be less than, that can be nothing, anything possible. So IFF and PMT06 is nowhere having the relation. This is only the B2B supply, and this is the total tax which I need to pay, for which there are two methods. Which we will discuss in the next class. So can we take the break? And this time the break would be for 9 minutes. You can confirm. Anyone, if you have any question, you can ask the question also. Until 7:35, we will have the break. Ashokji, over to you. 7:35 तक का break. Fine. So starting with the query, Akash, in monthly payment through 3B is quarterly payment is through PMT06. Akash, along with 3B, we have to make the payment, but in the payment would always be through PMT06. See, one thing, make it clear that payment would always be through PMT06, but when we are filing the 3B, there is an option to pay the taxes automatically. It will goes to 3B, or it will goes to PMT06 and then make the payment redirected to the 3B. They have interlinked. But the mode of payment of taxes, the way to pay the taxes is always PMT06. That is one thing is clear. I hope, Rekha, your point is also clear. Similar question you have. PMT is filed every month as we are paying the taxes monthly. Again, answer is yes, but again, I can say it is interlinked to 3B. So prima facie, I can say when you are filing the GSTR 3B, then whatever the liability which you need to pay in cash, you have to click on the payment challan. PMT06 will be open. You need to pay. Then again, it will be come to the GSTR 3B and you need to fund it. But one thing is clear, the 3B is not the payment of the taxes. You have to use the challan to pay the taxes, whether it is monthly or whether it is quarterly, whether it is 3B or whether it is QRMP, anything. I am paying the taxes through PMT06 only. Only point when we are filing the 3B, because it is interlinked, and only after the putting the detail, I would be able to determine. So I can say the 3B, whatever the liability is there, you pay the same through 3B, but through 3B means it is underlying challan number is PMT06. Last question, Mahadev, if 50 lakh value exceeding, then multiple IF can be filed or can be filed at the end of the quarter. See, first point, all statement, all returns are only one for a month. So for the July, when I'm filing the IF, it is exceeding 50 lakhs. You cannot add. So what is the solution? You can add only after the end of the quarter in the GSTR1. It's not that I can add in the multiple IFF, no. Or suppose second option, there is a multiple invoices exceeding 50 lakhs. So till 50 lakh, you can add in July, balance you can add in the August. That can also be done. Absolutely, Karthik. 3B just confirm that payment has been done. The method is same, and to pay in any cash is this in any case that is absolutely correct. Karthik, absolutely correct. No doubt about that. Your sentence is correct. Now let me move to the content of the GSTR1. The content of the GSTR1 is the GST name, the GST number, legal name, trade name, aggregate turnover in the previous year, year and month, HSNY summary of the outward supplies, details of the documentation. And what is the other info? Details of the outward supplies, B2B including UIN holder, B2C. See, first B2B including UIN holder. B2C interstate where invoice value is greater than 2.5 lakh. Consolidated B2C others. See, this is become interesting, very interesting. So in the GSTR1, because currently you are not required to know the forms in detail, but in the GSTR1, when you will go, there is one table 5 of the GSTR1 and one is the table 7 of the GSTR1. What is the difference? See, the table 5 is talking about B2C transaction interstate large value. B2C transaction interstate but large value means more than 2.5. What is the table 7? Rest all the B2C ka transaction would have to be reported in the table 7, but in the consolidated manner. What is the consolidated manner? It means you are not required to report invoice wise. You can consolidate and total you need to report state wise. Which type of the supply will come? The B2C supply. Let me move to the one flow chart which is being made. Yes. Outward taxable supply to be furnished in the GSTR1 if it is a B2C supply and if it is interstate more than 2.5 lakh, it will come in the table 5. and rest all B2C transaction will come in the table 7. So I can say enter having the invoice value up to 2.5 lakh or intra any value, whether it is up to 2.5 lakh or more than 2.5 lakh. Both will be clubbed and reported in the table 7, that is state-wise but consolidated. State-wise you need to bifurcate, but consolidated means suppose I have the 10 tax invoice, I will consolidate 10 tax invoice and according to the state and rate, I have to put the information. But this invoice value greater than 2.5 lakh for B2C enter, or like B2B, I have to add invoice wise detail. I have to add invoice wise information. So B2B, whether it is inter or whether it is intra, I have to add invoice wise. If it is B2C, then only this part is the invoice wise and rest is the consolidated state wise information I need to enter. Coming back, I hope this chart is clear. Give me the confirmation. Next, zero rated supplies. That is export and supply to the SEZ unit. Deemed export, that is again, there is a certain transactions are considered as a deemed export, like supply to the EOU, advance authorization, EPCG license, etc. Debit note and credit note, any issue for any party? I have issued the debit note and credit note. We have discussed section 34 in the tax invoice accounts and tax invoice chapter. You can refer what is the debit note and credit note. So whatever the debit note, credit note you have issued, you have to report that also separately. Nil rated, exempted, non-GST supplies. Amendment for the prior period. What is that? See, one thing is important. In the GST, you cannot file the revised return. For example, I have filed the return for the month of the July. Can I suppose there is a mistake? What is the solution? You cannot do the revised return. You cannot file the revised return for the month of July. Filed means filed. That's it. So what they have inserted the concept? They have inserted the concept of amendment table. What is the amendment? So for the prior period, any period till the time section 37 permit. We'll discuss the time limit for the correction also. But you can correct any information through amendment tables. So suppose I have entered B2B supply wrongly. I need to enter your GST number, but I have entered the GST number of another person. What to do? You can do the amendment in the subsequent period. Using the amendment table, put the invoice number, entire table would open. You can do the correction, whatever you want. What is the amendment table? For any information which is wrongly entered, B2B, B2C, GST number is wrong, tax invoice number is wrong, place of the supply is wrong, value is wrong, tax the rate is wrong, taxable value is wrong, invoice date is wrong, invoice number is wrong. Any wrong information you cannot correct through revised return. There is no concept of the revise. What to do? You can file the next return. At that point of time, you can do the amendment of all such incorrect information. When you enter the invoice number and some other method are there, then the respective correction you can do, that is called as a rectification. That is called the rectification. Let me take one point. If the supplier discover any error or omission, he shall rectify the same in the tax period during which such error is noticed and pay the tax and interest, if any, in case there is short payment. That is okay. Time limit for rectification. Suppose for some reason supplier could not file the correction at the time of the filing the GSTR for the month of October, then he can make such amendment in the subsequent period. However, the maximum time limit within such amendment are permissible is earlier of the below two dates. Date of filing the return under section 39 for the month of the September following the end of the financial year to which such detail pertain. Date of filing of annual return and whichever is earlier. Repeating again. Date of the filing of monthly return under section 39 of the month of the September following the end of the financial year to which such detail pertain, and date of the filing of the annual return whichever is earlier. So it means I can do the correction within the financial year, or maximum I can do the correction till September after the end of the year. Let's suppose, for example, I am talking about financial year 21-22. Sir, there is some information which is wrongly entered. I like to correct. I have forgot to correct. What to do? I have the time limit till September. I have the time limit till September. After the end of the financial year, it means 22. I can do the correction filing of the return under section 39, that is GSTR 3B, or annual return, whichever is earlier. That is the last cutoff date. I hope. Can anybody tell me? Really appreciable. Can anybody tell me? We have discussed the same time limit in any other chapter. Same time limit in any other chapter. Can you tell me where we have discussed this time limit? I know that you all can give the correct answer. I'm just asking, this time limit we have already discussed in some other chapter. What is that concept? Can you tell me where we have discussed this similar time limit? Can rectification be of the previous quarter? Yes, Rajinder, we can do the correction of any period, but maximum correction of this financial year you can do till September. What is the time limit? The time limit is section 39 return for the month of the September following the end of the financial year till or annual return, whichever is earlier. Great, yeah. My God, appreciated. Yeah. You are giving the section number. That is really good thing. You are not only explaining the concept to me, even you are quoting the section number. That is appreciable. But doesn't matter if you are not able to quote the section. No problem. Concept is clear. No problem. You will definitely get a good mark in the IDT at least. 16.4 in ITC, we have discussed the same time limit for taking the ITC. If there is 21-22 financial year, any document which I have missed, not taken ITC, I have the similar time limit. For taking the ITC as well. Now, please note the difference. 16 subsection 4 and section 37 subsection 3. Please note the difference. If you go to the 16.4, there is word due date. But in the section 37.3, they are talking about actual date of the filing of the GSTR 3B. That is okay. So that is the difference. You always remember. Something is different. Date of the filing, not the due date of the filing. What is the date of the filing of annual return? See, date of the filing of annual return, I can say only due date. But here they are talking about actual filing date. It can be anything, but what is the last date? 31st December after the end of the financial year. Since GSTR1 is linked to claiming the ITC by the recipient, so what will happen if recipient is claimed the ITC and the new rectification reduced invoice amount and vice versa? See, Prabhas, let's understand the question. I am supplied, you are my customer. Okay. I have issued the tax invoice of rupees 1 lakh, which I have reported in the GSTR1. Correspondingly, I have taken the ITC of on rupees 1 lakh, let's say 18%, 18,000. Subsequently, I have done the amendment, but there has to be the logic why I have done the amendment now. See, either there is an excess amount reported, less amount reported, wrongly reported. There would be some problem now. Yeah, wrong information entered invoice number. If I'm reducing the amount, it means when I have entered, that is actually I have not entered. See, for example, I have issued the invoice of rupees 1 lakh, but I have entered 10 lakh rupees. Then I will reduce to 1 lakh, and accordingly, you have to, but you have to take actual ITC. Not you cannot take extra ITC. You cannot take extra ITC. So either the reduction would be wrong reporting, GST number, invoice value, invoice date is reporting. So there would be no impact on the ITC. If there is an impact on the ITC, so corresponding impact you have to take. And second, there may be the possibility if there is a reduction, actual reduction. So that has to be routed through credit note and debit note according to section 34. Going back. So what kind of the, so that we have last part of this table is the advance received and advance adjusted. Advance received and advance adjusted. So you have given the advance. I have to issue the supply of the, if it is against supply of the service, you are giving the advance to me. I need to pay the taxes at the time of advance. And we have discussed in the tax invoice chapter also, which document will be issued for advances receipt voucher. So accordingly, we need to enter. Similarly, details of the document issued, you need to enter HSNY summary of outward supplies. What is the HSNY summary? What is the digit requirement? In case of the HSN, if your aggregate turnover, if your annual aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore, then 6 digit is mandatory. If it is up to 5 crore, then 4 digit for B2B, and for B2C, it is optional. What is the HSN requirement? What is the full form of HSN? Harmonized System of Nomenclature Coding System. Digit code. So I'm making the supply of, let's say, this particular shirts. So I have the garment shop. So I will enter 5208. Might be another. So these type of the coding system are there. So which has to be reported, which has to be entered in the tax invoice, also which has to be reported in the GSTR1. What is the digit requirement? If my aggregate turnover is up to 5 crore, then for B2B, it is 4 digit, and for B2C, it is optional. If my aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore, whether it is B2B or B2C, mandatorily 6 digit. Next is GST is the destination-based consumption tax. Hence, the tax revenue is transferred to the state which is place of the supply. Since the place of the supply is crucial for determining the share of every state, GSTR1 is also capturing the information relating to the place of supply. Perfect. What kind of the details of the outward supplies are required to furnish in the GSTR1? See, invoice-wise details of all, consolidated detail of all, debit and credit. See, if it is an B2B transaction, you have to enter invoice-wise information. In case of the B2C, only interstate and more than 2.5 lakh has to be entered invoice-wise. If it is unregistered person, intrastate supplies made to unregistered person or inter up to rupees 2.5 lakh, that will be consolidated. And debit and credit you need to report. Again, if it is related, if it is consolidated, original information, then again consolidated. If original invoice information is detailed, then you need to report the details. It can be seen from the above table, uploading of invoices, whether B2B perspective, that is okay. So from my side, this particular part is completed. Let's read this. What is the page number? Advance received and advance adjusted. What is the page number? It is 13. Does it make any difference in reporting 4 or 6 digit? No. See, for example, I am further drill down. Suppose I am talking about only 2 digits. So 52 is covering the broad category. So not to go to the drill down. 4 digit, again they are further breaking. 6 digit, they are more further drill down. So might be there is a mistake in the classification. The people will not prefer that if my aggregate turnover up to 5 crore, I will not prefer to use 6 digit, because in the 6 might be whatever I am using that can be different. HSN means different identification for the different goods. Yes, coding system. For pen, I have given one code. For shirts, I have given one code. For light, I have given one code. For camera, I have given one code. So that code is there. What is the necessity of the HSN code in the GST? So the HSN is the concept going on worldwide. So HSN coding system is not the concept of India. This is concept going on worldwide, and we are not opting first time. It is already available in the custom. So from the custom we have taken. For GST, there is no specific, I can say, separately or newly made tariff. No, we have borrowed from the custom. So everywhere it is being used. So we have taken the same things. Today, definitely, Pooja, I will show, but somehow the website is not working. Actually, the website is not working. GST. So there is a problem in the GST website. That is the reason. Otherwise, I would be able to show the same. I was actually planned only to show from the login itself, but somehow the website is not working. That is the reason. If work, I will definitely show. Next is yes. Scanned copy of the invoice are not required to upload it. Only certain prescribed information from invoice need to be captured, and that has to be given in the GST. In case the consolidation, there is no consideration, but the activity supply, the taxable value have to be worked out as per the prescribed and furnished. Okay. Description of each item in the invoice need not to be furnished. So, for example, you're not required to furnish that what is the address, what is the actual category of the goods, description of the goods, or invoice number you have to enter, invoice date you have to enter, place of the supply you have to enter. So certain information will be entered, certain information not entered based on the GSTR 1 or 3 BK format. So this chart we have discussed. Now the turnover of yellow lemon private limited, red paper private limited, and the blue in the previous year is 1.5, 4.8, and 6 crore respectively. While yellow and red will require to upload 4 digits of HSN code sold to the registered person. Uploading 4 digits of HSN code will be optional for 2 companies when the goods are, simply they are saying again same thing. See, if my aggregate turnover is up to 5 crore, then for B2B 4 digit mandatory, for B2C it is optional. For more than 5 crore, it is 6 digit, whether it is B2B or B2C, that's it. HSN. HS means Harmonized Commodity Description and Coding System, is a standardized system of the nomenclature of the different goods developed by the need WCO. It is important of WCO. What is the full form? World Custom Organization, which is accepted globally. Even we are also taking from WCO. HSN uses 6-digit uniform code to classify the different goods. India use 8 digit for more specific and precise classification. So India is using up to 8 digit. India is using up to 8 digit of the HSN code. So for GST, for the time being, they have made 4 digit and 6 digit. But we are using till 8 digits. So for export import, we are using 8 digit ka HS import. What are the details of the output supply furnished in the prior period amendment? See, table 9, certain table are there. You are not required to remember by table number. Okay? There are certain table which you need to use for making the amendment. Okay? So, what you are required to do, let me see the flow chart. Okay, fine. See, in any of the table, say for example, I'm talking about the table GSTR1 table 9A. They are talking about first two things. Give the financial year for which you like to make the amendment and select the invoice number. This means if my financial year and say invoice number 205, once I will enter, it will goes in the system and search the data. If that invoice number in that financial year is matched, then what they will open? They will open the same table, like it is a B2B transaction. They will open the table 4, entire table 4, which we have used first time to add the new information. Repeating again, once again, try to understand what is the way or what is the method to use the amendment. So whenever we are doing the amendment, we are putting the invoice number, we are putting the financial year. First financial year, then invoice number. Once we are entering that system match, if it is matched, then they will open the entire original table in which you can do any amendment, whatever you want. If it is a B2C intra, in the certain supply you have made detailed, you have added details of the output supplies, and certain information you have put state-wise consolidated manner, like B2C intra or B2C inter up to 2.5 lakh. So that information, if you like to amend, they have made the separate amendment table. Again, you will select the month. In that case, you are not required to add the invoice number. See, suppose I have put the consolidated information, then how the amendment would be there? So will there be any invoice? Answer is no. I have not entered the invoice. I just entered the consolidated amount. I have just entered the consolidated amount. Then they are asking month for which you like to change and select the place of the supply which you like to change. Let's say I am saying for the month of May, and for place of the supply like as a UP or as a Delhi I like to change. Again, that consolidated table will open. I can make the amendment in the value, in the place of the supply, etc. Clear? Kindly confirm. Is it clear? Kindly confirm. Amendment part is clear. Also rectification part is we have completed. Till now, any question you may ask. If you have any question, kindly ask. If you have any question, kindly ask. So we have completed till rectification, amendment, and content of the GSTR1. Please confirm if you have any doubt. Then we'll start the nil GSTR1. So the point is nil GSTR1. Clear, no? Fine, fine. So GSTR1 is mandatory now. If I not file, then what happens? I'm asking the question to all of you. Suppose I'm not filing the GSTR1, then what happens? Suppose I'm not filing the GSTR1, there is no transaction. Still, I'm required to file, or if I'm not filing, then what? Suppose I'm not filing, then what? You tell me. If I'm not filing, then what? Suppose I'm not filing the GSTR1, then there is a late fees per day applicable. There is a late fees per day applicable. You need to file per day. If you not file by the due date, you need to pay the late fees per day, 200 rupees or something we have discussed. So the nil GSTR1, whether GSTR1 is having the data or not having the data, you need to furnish. Even if there is no transaction, no business activity, you need to furnish. For such tax period, a nil GSTR1 is required to be prescribed in the rule 67.8. That is okay. Nil GSTR1 does not have any entry For example, I do not have any supply, outward supply is taxable. Oh, great. So Pravas, I hope it is clear, na? So because there is a late fees per day, correct? So you have to furnish even there is a nil transaction. So no sale, like exempted, nil rated, non-GST, taxable. There is no transaction. Then in that case, GSTR1 has to be furnished. There no data. Then GSTR nil GSTR is applicable. Yes, yes, yes. You have to file. GSTR1 nil can be filed through SMS also. There is a facility being developed by the GSTN that even you can file from the registered mobile number through SMS is you can verify. Taxpayer can file the GSTR1 anytime after the end of the month from the first day of the next month. That is okay. Correct. Taxpayer opting for voluntarily cancellation of the GST has to file the GSTR1 for active period. So if I have opted cancellation of the GST number, so I have applied the GST cancellation. Suppose I am under QRMP. I am under QRMP. I have opted. I am under QRMP and I have opted the cancellation of the GST number. So suppose in between of the quarter I have opted for cancellation. Then for that quarter I have to furnish GSTR1. For that quarter I have to furnish GSTR1 because certain month is active, certain month is not active. Because GSTR1 is for quarterly, you have to furnish that. In case where a taxpayer has been converted from the normal to the composition, GSTR1 will be available for the period during which the taxpayer was registered as normal. The GSTR1 for the said period, even if the file with delay, would accept invoices for the period prior to the conversion. Okay, no problem. It is clear. What are the precautions that taxpayer is required to take for a hassle-free compliance under GST? So timely uploading the details of the outward supplies in the GSTR1 and IFF, regular uploading the invoices. The second time would be to ensure that taxpayer following on upload the invoices they will. So that is okay. Check on regular basis. Check the ITC. Check the there is no deadline for next GSTR. Same Karthik, same due date, 11 or 30. 11 or 30. Now the important concept, what is the 2A and what is the 2B? So let me explain. First, I will explain from my whiteboard on my own whiteboard, and then I will give the language. What is the difference in the GSTR 2A and the GSTR 2B? Suppose supplier file the GSTR1. Supplier file the GSTR1. Then the 2A and 2B would be updated. For example, he has filed before the due date. GSTR1, we are talking about, let's say, July month. For July month, please confirm. This is my question also to all of you. What is the due date for the GSTR1? If it is monthly, then what is the due date for the GSTR1? So that I can write the date here. I can write the date here. Please tell me for the GSTR1 for the month of the July, what is the due date? It is 11th. It is 11th. I can write 11th August, right? I can write 11th August. I can write 11th August. Okay. Now tell me, if I have opted QRMP, then what is the due date for the GSTR1 for the July? If I have opted QRMP, what is the due date for the GSTR1 for the month of July? If I have opted QRMP, then what is the, if I opted QRMP, then what is the date of July? Please write month also. Please write month also. You just simply not write date. Please write month also. What is the last date to file the GSTR1? If I have opted QRMP, what is the last date to file the GSTR1 for July in case of the QRMP? Some tricks is there. Some important element is there in this question. Let me see that you can catch this. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is the last date to file the GSTR1 in case of the QRMP for the month of the July? Sir, correct your statement. Why? Why? If you have opted QRMP, you will file QRMP only after the end of the quarter. It means for July, there is no GSTR1. Why you are asking the GSTR1 for the month of the July? If you are opting quarterly payment monthly scheme, quarterly return monthly payment scheme, QRMP scheme, then GSTR would not be for July. It will be IFF. And what is the due date for the IFF? What is the due date for IFF? It is 13th August. Thank you so much. 13th August, not 14th. QRMP due date is 13th. Sushil, 13th. Why 14th? From where it is? From where you are saying that it is 14th? The due date is 13th. Now, what is the 2A and what is the 2B? See, 2A and 2B is both are auto-populated. 2A and 2B, similarity if I talk about, both are auto-populated. Both are talking about the inward transaction. Both are talking about the inward supplies. It is not the statement of the outward supplies. It is inward supplies. The transaction would appear based on the GSTR1 or IFF. Same. Now listen carefully. If the supplier will file the GSTR1 or IFF by the due date, if supplier file the GSTR1 by the due date, then the transaction will appear in the 2A also, and the transaction will appear in the 2B also for the same month. Let's say I am using the month also. Let's say it is July. So it is available in the July GSTR 2A. It is available in the July GSTR 2B. Now suppose supplier is filing GSTR1 because IFF cannot be furnished after the due date. So the supplier is filing the GSTR1 after the due date. Say, let's say it is 11. After 11 or after 13th in case of quarterly, then it will appear in the same month. It will appear in the same month. It will appear in the same month. It will appear in the same month in the GSTR 2A, but it will not appear in the GSTR 2B. It will not appear in the GSTR 2B. Let's say we are talking about, I'm again talking the same example, but this time I will take the due date of the quarterly also. GSTR1 for the quarterly. What is the due date? By 13th. If I furnish the information, supplier furnish the information by 13th, it will available in September quarter. It will 2A, quarterly 2A. It will also appear in the quarterly 2B. It will also appear in the quarterly 2A. It will also appear in the quarterly 2B. But suppose if it is being furnished after 13th, if it is being furnished after 13th, it is available in the September quarter 2A, but it will not available in the 2B. It will not available in the month of the 2B, in the month of the September or quarter. It will available in the next period. It will carry forward to the next period in case of the 2B. Now, why there is a requirement? Now listen carefully. Why there is a requirement to bring the GSTR 2B? Now, why there is a requirement? Why there is a requirement to bring the GSTR 2B? This point I am discussing carefully. So, If there is a difference, I like to add one last one point. Technically, last one point, that 2A is a dynamic document. It is updated at any point of time. Whenever the supplier will file the one, it will be updated in the 2A. But 2B is a static document. It is a fixed document. Use the word static. If it is asked in the exam, use this two term. It is a dynamic document. It is a static document fixed on a particular date. Till 13th, it is being fixed. So 2B for any month would be available only after 13th. That is from 14th onward, you can generate that 2B. Only from 14th onward, you can generate that 2B. So let's say July, you can generate from 14th August. For August, you can generate from 14th September. And for September, you can generate from 14th October. The 2B is a static document and 2A is a dynamic document. You can generate for the same month at any point of time you want. If the supplier filed the GSTR1 in time, it will appear in 2A, 2B both. You can take the ITC in the same month. But if the supplier filed the GSTR1 after the due date, if the supplier filed the GSTR1 after the due date, then it will appear in the 2A but not appear in the 2B. After the due date, it will appear in the 2A but not appear in the 2B. Therefore, we can say that recipient not able to take ITC. So the government are saying, if people are timely complied, then only we will give the benefit. If your supplier is correctly filing the return, if your supplier is correctly filing the return, then you will be able to take the ITC in the same month correctly and timely. If he is filing the GSTR1 after the due date or IFF not furnished at all, then that transaction will not appear in the GSTR2B in the same month. It will be carried forward to the next month. So suppose supplier has filed the GSTR1 on 14th, on 15th, it will appear in 2A, but it will not appear in 2B on the month of the September. It will appear in the October. You can take the ITC only in the month of October. So that is the problem. That is the problem. So again, you will check while doing the transaction, you will check whether supplier is doing the timely compliances or not. Doing the timely compliances or not. So you will continue the transaction accordingly in the future. Sir, why 14th? Because 13th is the due date of the IFF. So in case of the monthly, either there will be one or there would be IFF. What is the due date of IFF? 13th. So after 13th, they are saying on 14th you can generate. Please ask the question. I have completed the concept of 2A. I have completed the concept of 2B. Please ask the question. If filed with the due date, then will appear in both? Yes. I later appear in only 2A. If letter, yes, absolutely correct, Karthik. Why 14? I have given the answer. In case of the 2A, details getting reflected either filed till due date or not. Yes. Nee. Okay, fine. You may see transaction would appear in the 2A only when the supplier filed the GSTR1. But whether it is in due date or after the due date, it will appear in the same month. Absolutely correct. But reflecting to be only filed. Absolutely correct. So, miss, 100% correct. In case of the late filing, it is available for supply in the next month or quarter, sir. Absolutely correct, Puja. Sir, date of the generation of the 2B means, see, you will see the document of the 2B, date of the generation of 2B, see how much, see, recipient would calculate the eligible ITC. Recipient has to calculate the eligible ITC, correct? So how they will calculate the eligible component? So they will download the 2B, then see whatever the ITC is appearing, they are eligible, subject to the other condition. So that is meaning of the downloading. That is the meaning of downloading the or GSTR2B. Okay. Generation or for the quarter ended September, the due date is October 13, right? Absolutely right. So 13 for the quarterly. For month 1 and month 2, I will file the IFF. That is the due date is again 13th of the next month. And for quarterly GSTR1, again, the due date is 13th after the end of the quarter. Any question or is it clear? You are participating. Less number of the people are participating in the chat. Everything is okay? Everything is okay, right? So let me finish this discussion at this stage. So in the last class, we will start from page number 24, GSTR 3B, section 39 written. So if you have a question, you can ask. Otherwise, I will throw the question. After due date, only 2A. Otherwise, both. Otherwise, both. Huh. Mahadev only like to add one thing. After due date, it means it is not available in the 2B in the same month. It will be available in the 2B in the next month. See, I should say like this also. I can add one sentence. See, if supplier is filing the GSTR1 after the due date, then what happens? It will appear in the 2B of the same month. Both the transaction, whether filed in the same month by the due date, whether filed by the due date or after the due date. Let's say we are talking about the July. So this transaction, both the transaction within the due date or after the due date would appear in the same month GSTR2A. But when you talk about the 2B, the transaction, the supplier filed the GSTR1 by the due date, it will appear in the July month 2B. Recipient would be able to take the ITC in the July month itself. But if the supplier filed after the due date, then the transaction would not appear in the July. It will appear in the next month, that is August. Therefore, the recipient would be able to take the ITC in the next month. Is it okay? You all are ready for throwing the question. Great. So, fine. And Akash, if a monthly taxpayer files the GST by the due date 11th, will it to be generated after 12th? No. It will fix. The date is fixed. It will available only after 14, only after 13. That is 14th. The date is fixed for the GSTR. To be the date is fixed, you can generate only 14th of the month, not prior to that. Rekha, it is clear now. Fine. Let me start the question. Can you please tell me who is filing the GSTR form? Who is required to file the GSTR form? Who is required to file the GSTR form? Can you please tell me who is required to file the GSTR form? Mahadev, absolutely correct. If the supplier is filing the GSTR1 late, then you can take the ITC in the next month, not in the same month. Who is filing the GSTR 4? Who is filing the GSTR 4? That is my question to all of you. Is required to file the GSTR 4. Okay, now discuss composition table. That table which we have discussed auto-populated, that was GSTR 4A, GSTR 2A, GSTR 6A. It will be filed by the composition dealer. We'll discuss in the next class. 4 auto-populated is added with the word A. Composition dealer 4A. ISD 6A. Regular dealer 2A. Great. GSTR 4A is auto-population. Fine. Can you tell me any one person, any one category of the registration who is not required to file the GSTR1? No, not required to file the GSTR1. I'm saying not applicable, or I'm saying not applicable. I'm saying not applicable GSTR1 or not required to file the GSTR1 in which category of the registration? In which category of the registration? In which category of the registration? It is not required to file. It is not applicable. sorry. Taken this. Other than composition, can you tell me any other category? Yes, IST, composition, IST. NRTP, IST, composition feeder, and one OID. Thank you so much. Can you tell me what is the full form of IFF? Can you tell me what is the full form of IFF? Prabhas, this is only for your knowledge purpose, but if I talk about as per the law, it is still there. According to the law, it is still there. It will be amended, but there is no requirement. But we'll discuss one in the next class also. What is the full form of IFF? What is the full form of IFF? I am I am agree with all the participants. The answer which you have given of last question, question number 1. Next question: what is the full form of IFF? Invoice furnishing facility. Invoice furnishing facility. Can you tell me what is the upper limit which we can add in the IFF? What is the maximum limit which we can add in the IFF? What is the maximum value which we can add in the IFF? There is an upper limit. There is an upper limit. So how much value we can add in the one IFF? The answer is, the right answer is, my question is, what is the maximum value which we can add? The right answer is 50 lakh, 50 lakh. Next question to all of you. If I have not furnished the IFF, can I file after the due date? If I have not filed the IFF, by the due date, can I file the IFF after the due date? Can I file after the due date? Can I file after the due date? Can I file after the due date? IFF, which is not furnished by the due date, can I file after the due date? Answer is no, I cannot file after the due date. So please tell me that invoice which is missed in the IFF or not added in the IFF, where I have to enter of that period. So if I am not furnished the IFF or not added certain information in the IFF, so those transactions, where it will be added, in which return or in which statement it will be added? The right answer is GSTR1. The right answer is GSTR1. Can you please tell me what is the last date to pay the taxes in case of monthly? Important question. Tricky question, important. What is the last date to pay the taxes in case of monthly tax pay? What is the last date? What is the last date to pay the taxes in case of the monthly filer? Rupees, invoice furnishing facility or integrated facility management. Rupees, you have joined the late, kya? Whether you joined the class late? In case of the monthly taxpayer, the last date would be equal to the GSTR 3B date. What is the due date of the GSTR 3B? 20. Therefore, I can say the last date would be monthly filer. I've used the word monthly taxpayer. So the last date would be 20th only. The last date would be 20th only. The last date would be 20th only. Can you please tell me that which information we are entering in the consolidated manner in the GSTR1? There is one information which we have discussed will be entered in the consolidated manner, or two information we have discussed that would be entered in the consolidated manner, not invoice wise. It will be go state wise and consolidated, not the invoice wise. It will be entered in the consolidated manner. Can you please tell me which information will be entered in the consolidated manner in the GSTR1? Very good question. Excellent. You all participants are doing good actually. Na? The whomsoever is giving the reply, I can really appreciate everyone. Well, same day discussion, you are giving the reply on the same day, and that to be majorly correct answer. It's really appreciable. The right answer is intrastate supply any value or inter B2C up to 2 lakh. No, up to 2.5 lakhs, sir. 2.5 lakhs. Great. What is the threshold limit? What is the threshold limit for HSN code? Changing the question. Tell me the HSN requirement if my aggregate turnover is more than 1.5 crore, but up to 5 crore. Listen my question carefully. If my aggregate turnover is more than 1.5 crore, but up to 5 crore, please tell me what digit I need to put mandatory. How much digit I have to put mandatory in case of the B2C? I'm reframing my question once again, repeating the question. In case of the B2C supply, if my aggregate turnover more than 1.5 crore, but up to 5 crore, what is the digit I have to put in the tax invoice or in the GSTR1? Should I repeat my question? My question is, if your aggregate turnover is more than 1.5 crore, but up to 5 crore and supply is B2C, how much digit mandatory I have to enter in the GSTR1? In case of the B2C supply, please tell me the mandatory requirement, how much digit is there for B2C supply in case my aggregate turnover is more than 1.5 crore, but up to 5 crore. Answer is optional. Answer is optional. 4 digits, but within bracket optional. Thank you so much. Can we add B2C supply in the IFF? 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 No, we can't add. Last question for the day. Last question for the day. According to the CGST Act, according to the, listen my question carefully, give me the answer. That is the last question for the day. According to the CGST Act, what is the maximum late fees in case of annual return? According to the CGST Act, what is the maximum late fees for annual return? What is the maximum late fees for annual return? What is the maximum late fees for annual return? What is the maximum late fees according to the CGST Act? According to the CGST Act, what could be the maximum late fees for annual return? Absolutely correct. It is 100 rupees per day, subject to the maximum of 0.25%. 0.25% of turnover. 0.25% of turnover. I hope it is clear. Even if the supply file it is on the last date, time is needed for that to get reflected in 2B and set off. By then, due date will be over. So how can recipient get ITs? See, if the supplier filed the GSTR1 at 11:59, at 11:59 in the midnight, it will reflect in the GSTR2B 11:59. Fraction of a minute, it's get auto-populated. No time required. See, this is the system. This is the much advanced system which is being used in the GST. So no time required. It will appear. So let me take 1 or 2 questions, then we can. Akash, maximum answer. Sorry, Parzwala. Can you please explain the logic of the debit and credit note to the electronic liability, electronic cash, and electronic credit? There is no linking. Debit and credit note to the electronic liability, no linking, sir. Liability is something depend upon the demand notice raised by the GST officer. And debit and credit note, which supplier is supplying the same. No logic. And there is no linking also. Where November 22 statutory update is available. Sir, where November 22 statutory update, could you please display where to download? That you need to, you can available, you can, everything you can download from the website itself, it is available, or you can connect with the institute. It's already available in the institute web portal. So there is no question related to GST. So not giving any answer. Okay? So, but I've given your question, first question, I've given the answer. Fine. Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. We'll meet in the next class. Be prepared. We'll complete the rest of the part of the written chapter. Ashokji, over to you to complete.